So one of the scary parts of the Bible for me is Matthew 7, where it's talking about trees. A good tree can only bear good fruit, and a bad tree can only produce bad fruit. And many people are going to say to him on the last day, Lord, Lord, do we not prophesy in your name? Do we not do miracles in your name? And he's still going to say, away from me, I never knew you. Because you can go, well, I don't understand. Because if I do all the seemingly good stuff, I'm going to stand before God and he's going to say, away from me, I don't know you. Well, the very beginning part in Matthew 7:15, beware the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but are inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. So this is more talking about like false prophets or teachers, maybe not just some idiot on the internet, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry. And I think that is pretty much the message, because at the very end he says, I will declare to them, I never knew you. Leave me, you who practice lawlessness. That it seems like that these teachers, the ones that he's warning about, and if you say it's not just teachers, it's also individuals. Okay, it's they go, hey God, we did all this good stuff. But God's going, yeah, but look, you did all these bad things. And I'm telling you, a tree can't do both. A tree can't make both good fruit and bad fruit. But I've never met a person who's only been all good and hasn't had bad fruit. So that makes me think like, oh, well, we're all in danger of this. Is he just going to tell everyone, I don't know you, all you get out of here? And you go, no, it's only those who, put their faith in him, and they're not trying to get salvation by works. It's just about grace. That's why they're considered lawlessness, because they were trying to earn their salvation. And I don't think that's enough of the explanation here either. This is more for the person to take note. That is, if you go, well, if I do all these good things, I go out and I prophesy, I go out and I teach a youth group, I do the volunteer at the kitchen, and, when someone needs help moving, I just come and do it, and I never drop in conversation, on Monday, like, oh, I was with so-and-so, oh, you were so-and-so, weren't they moving? Oh, yeah, I was just kind of helping. I'm not that kind of person. I know to do my good deeds in secret. If you're doing good deeds, and you go like, oh, I did these good deeds, I've now earned the right to sin. I've got so much good credit with God that now I can go sin a little. Now I can go do some lust of the flesh because, well, I have my good fruit over here. I can now go eat some of the bad fruit. Because the warning that Jesus gives is, you who practice lawlessness. I'm talking about like sinless perfection because, John says that you say you don't sin, you're a liar. But we definitely should be striving to sin less. And I think the person who thinks that they're safe just because they've done these things, not just they believe in grace and faith and not by works. Not just that. Even if you go like, oh, I've got grace, I've got faith, Jesus did all the work. I think if you think you can relax and go sin some, like that's your desire, that you want to do that, like, oh, I'm only doing these good things, or I've only said, yeah, I believe in faith and grace. So you can take that as, well, now I've earned the right, so now I can go sin a little. Because I think if that shows like, oh, that's what your ultimate desire is, that like, oh, I only do the good stuff, so I have enough money to go spend it on sin. I think if you're going like, oh, well, I'm not building up eternal rewards because like, oh, I want to meet God, like that's my number one desire is I can't wait to meet God face to face, and he's going to say to me, well done. Like, yeah, I know that you haven't always heard me, or maybe you never got to see me, but you were always trying to do the things that you would think that I would want you to do. And look, now you're standing before me. Like, come in, welcome. Like, it's cool to finally meet you. I think if that is your desire, then that you have a better chance of God saying, oh, I know you. Like, I know, we never got to meet, you never got to hear me, you never got to see me. But yeah, you were striving to be, for this moment, when you stand before me, that you were doing the right things in private and secret, which nobody knew. I think that would be the difference versus if you go like, oh, well, I want to be good so I can spend it on the flesh, or because that would show you like, oh, that you've now committed adultery and that is really your God. Your God is really feeding, your lust of the flesh.